A person's health is a very important question. It's an orientation of whether we're moving in the right or wrong direction. If a person is moving towards spiritual development, then he or she should have good health, if everything is correct. And if not, then that's where all the problems stem from. Nowadays, there are two main problems in the human body, or battles. A battle between two energies, the energy of the soul and the energy of personal identity. On top of that, there are another 7 forces which can subdue either in the soul and in the self. The 7 forces, they are energy centers, chakras. And so this conflict, it's going to continue until the verticality is aligned. Where the soul resides, the self is subordinate to her. And the entire energy apparatus works, that chain, that verticality. It's correct to say, in order to be healthy, you must be spiritually oriented. But everything that has to do with the soul and spiritual orientation, for the townie, this is abstract. That is, what isn't understood is what to do. It isn't understood where to go. There are many questions that demand clarifications. Today, I would like to talk exactly about that spiritual orientation and direction towards God in understanding is enough. In every person there are 2 conflicts. The first conflict is between the soul and the individual self. The 3-way self is the physical, the astral, and the mental body, and the soul. The conflict erupts over power. That is, who is the acting leader in the body, the soul or the individual self? In general, the soul should govern. But more often than not, we find that the self is dominating. All of this in order so that it was the soul that made the decision to come into a physical body. It is the soul making a decision on cessation of life. The soul leaves, everything decays. But by virtue of the self being located on the physical plane, from the standpoint of evolution is not very high. Thus, it's a conflict of understanding. As soon as the self understands that it's correct to have the soul govern, everything becomes harmonious and correct. That is, ideally, you should build this kind of structure, which governs with the soul. Under that is the self, and the very chakra apparatus. That is, the forces there located in the body, subdominant to the verticality. And when we've subdued everything, then have ideal health here. Humanity today is polarized on an astral level, and 90% of our diseases are due to this. That is the reason is our incompleteness. And they're named as such. The first is frustration, the second, uneasiness, and third, that's fear. 90% probably of our diseases manifest from this astral plane, and the lack of these 3 important things. The first lack is frustration. The first frustration is unhappiness, no matter with who, the government, your director, the neighbor, your daughter or son. When the frustration leaks out, it spreads firstly to those people upon whom it was spilled, and inside a poison is left behind. That is, the person, him or herself, leaves himself with poison, in peril, which destroys his or her physical body. The second is uneasiness. Uneasiness is the imagination, which is constantly located in a negative condition, conjured from that which doesn't exist. That is, we're making up these kinds of fears in our relationships with our close relatives and friends, thinking of how they're going to end up in a car accident, get sick, mugged by thugs. That is a diseased imagination. In fundamental uneasiness lies a diseased imagination. That is, you need to stop it. stop and grab hold. You cannot think up negative events for yourself and others. When uneasiness spills overboard and cycles, the thought process of a person is already in a condition where it can't get away from this uneasiness and begins to conjure fears. The first phase is being startled. After this scare, you can enter into a paralysis of will, motion. It's not that a person already can't think something up or imagine something. He or she simply begins to decay physically. That is, fear destroys constitution better than anything else. It infects a negative vibration into the cell, disintegration. In this way, after some time, a person distances himself from the fear, and instinct, regardless, mounts its self-preservation. However, the destructive action has already taken place, and the consequences of these events destroy the physical body. There is a cause and effect connection if we can say that all diseases come from the consciousness plane, or the mental, or the astral, or the energetic plane, and trickle down to the physical body. The most basic of it is when we talk about spiritual development. Understand, what exactly is spiritual development? What exactly is spiritual directionality? Basically, the task is simple. You need to deal with the frustration that visits us periodically and remove it. You need to remove the uneasiness that stalks people all the time. And you need to remove fears. Even the animal fear of death, which dominates all other fears. We can use this elementary antidote against this fear. Which one, for example, right? That is, you need to understand that, in principle, nothing depends on you. If the soul accepts the decision to die, then this will most definitely happen.